You go to a concert, and hundreds of people hold their phones in the air. You sit down at a restaurant, and someone records their meal before taking the first bite. You travel somewhere beautiful, and your first thought isn't, how does this feel? It's, should I post this? Somewhere along the way, life stopped being experienced and started being documented. Why does everything feel like content now? Hello, everyone. This is The Quiet Signal, where we explore the psychology behind the world around us. The internet didn't just change how we communicate. It changed how we see the world. Today, almost every moment carries a hidden question. How would this look online? A sunset, a workout, a relationship, a conversation, a vacation, even our thoughts. Everything has become potentially shareable, potentially valuable, potentially content. And the more connected we become, the more difficult it is to separate our real lives from our digital identities. Because social media didn't simply give us new ways to express ourselves. It transformed everyday life into a performance. For most of human history, people only performed for those physically around them. Family, friends, neighbors. Today, the audience is potentially everyone. At any moment, we can broadcast our lives to hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people. And when an audience is always available, it's difficult not to imagine one. Psychologists call this the imaginary audience effect, the feeling that other people are constantly observing us. Social media amplified this instinct to an unprecedented scale. Now, even when we're alone, part of our mind asks, how will this look? Will people like it? Is this worth sharing? Slowly, we begin to experience our lives from the outside, looking at ourselves the way an audience might, not as participants, but as performers. On the internet, attention is valuable. Every view, every click, every comment, every second spent watching, it all generates profit. Which means platforms compete aggressively for one thing: human attention. The more content we create, the more time people spend online. And the more time people spend online, the more money platforms make. But this changes how we think. Experiences are no longer just experiences. They're opportunities. A beautiful meal becomes a photo. A funny moment becomes a video. A personal achievement becomes a post. Life itself becomes raw material. Not because people are shallow, but because we've adapted to an environment where visibility feels valuable, where attention feels like validation, and where being seen increasingly feels like existing. Social media platforms don't treat every moment equally. Algorithms reward content that captures attention, content that triggers emotion, content that keeps people engaged. Over time, users learn what performs well, which emotions attract views, which opinions attract comments, which versions of themselves receive approval. And without realizing it, people begin optimizing their personalities, not for authenticity, but for engagement. The internet doesn't just influence what we post, it influences who we become. Because when algorithms reward certain behaviors repeatedly, those behaviors become habits. Eventually, the line between genuine expression and performance becomes difficult to see. Perhaps the strangest consequence of all is that many people no longer experience moments directly. Instead, they experience them through an imagined audience. Instead of asking, "What do I think about this?" we ask, "What will other people think?" Instead of asking, "Do I enjoy this?" we ask, "Will this get attention?" This changes relationships, hobbies, travel, identity itself. Moments lose their private meaning because they become public possibilities. And when every experience can be shared, it becomes harder to simply exist without documenting it. Silence starts feeling unproductive. Privacy starts feeling invisible. And being offline starts feeling like disappearing. Sharing moments isn't inherently harmful. The internet allows people to connect, create, and express themselves in ways that were impossible before. The problem begins when documentation replaces experience, when the memory becomes less important than the post, when the audience becomes more important than the moment. Because some of life's most meaningful experiences were never meant to be optimized, or measured, or shared. They were meant to be lived, fully, privately, without an audience, without metrics, without performance. And perhaps that's what many people are missing today. Not more content, but more moments that belong only to them. The internet didn't just turn information into content. It turned life itself into content. And the more connected we become, the easier it is to forget the difference between living a moment and performing it. So the next time you reach for your phone, ask yourself one question. Are you capturing the moment or replacing it? Because in a world where everything can become content, choosing not to share something might be one of the few truly private acts left. Subscribe to understand better human psychology